here this morning with Scott Keogh, the president of Audi of America. Scott, welcome.
Thank you very much. Great to be here, Duran. Thank you.
Scott, we heard last night from Dr. Winterkorn, the chairman of the supervisory board of VW, about Audis and VWs and the results of all of the brands. Tell us a little bit about Audi's role in the financial results of Volkswagen. It seems to be exceptionally important.
It is important, and I think there's two things if you want to simplify Audi's role. I mean, I think first and foremost, we are the real premium brand of the group, and being a premium brand, obviously our job is to hit our sales targets, but also to bring in a lot of the profitability. I think the second thing, if you look at the very brand nature of Audi, introduce innovative, big-time technologies. Whether it's the LED lighting, which you know, Audi Connect systems, which you know, and eventually things like the virtual cockpit. High tech, and of course, strong profitability.
Now, last night, Dr. Winterkorn, he tagged profitability and said that it's improving. Does this an implication for Audi? Does this refer to how Audi is doing in terms of profitability as well?
No, look, if I look at Audi from my perspective here in the United States, profitability is quite good. Obviously, you have the exchange rate working in our favor now, but the truth be told, can you hold your transaction prices? And the answer for Audi in the States is yes. We have some of the lowest incentives in the business, low day supply, quick turn rates of our dealers, so I look at our profitability as quite strong, and to me, that's holding your pricing.
Please talk about rising sales. You've made your 5th consecutive sales record in the United States, is that correct?
We have, and to simplify it, it took us nearly 40 years in America to get to 100,000 units. We did it in 2010. 2014, 4 years later, 182,011 units. The market grew by around 5%, we grew by 15%. So it was quite a good year, and we're very proud of it.
Now, you've passed actually many of the other luxury contenders, and you stand number 4 now in the market, but worldwide, you're in a higher position in some of the other markets.
Well, to me, I think that speaks to the endless opportunity. America's a great market, it's a great place to compete. As you mentioned, we're making good progress on our plan, but there's a ceiling, and we think we can keep climbing up and getting there.
Tell me a little bit about the plans in Mexico and how they affect Audi in the United States.
We're excited by Mexico. This will be the first time we've produced an Audi in the North American.
And this is in a new plant.
Content. 100%, entirely new plant, new investment. It'll be global production for the Q5. As you know, a Q5 has been the hottest car. It was our #1 seller last year, and to have the 2nd generation model that close to our market, cars will come in weeks as opposed to months. We couldn't be more excited by that investment, frankly.
Talk about the Q7 a little bit. You're going to show that today here in Detroit.
Well, I think the first thing about the Q7, what's shocking us is this deep in its life cycle, Q7 was up 15–16% last year. So the segment's booming, the old car is doing fantastic, but of course nothing like having a new model. And I think what we have here is a car that's taken nearly 700 pounds of weight out, so the driving dynamics are going to be incredible. The Connect functionality, the virtual cockpit, which we showed on the TT, will now be in the Q7. So we're excited, but the car is still a little bit away from launch here in the US.
Speak a little bit more broadly about the popularity of crossovers by every manufacturer. This is a trend that's sweeping this industry. What do you think? What do you attribute it to?
Well, you're exactly right. 35% of our sales came in, let's call it SUVs, crossovers. Our #1 seller is the Q5, as you know. What I attribute it to, first and foremost, is obviously fuel pricing is helping. The second thing that's helping is obviously the engineering of these products. These are no longer giant lumbering SUVs. They perform, act, and behave like sedans in many regards. The third thing I think is a new generation. These are people who grew up on SUVs, now coming into the marketplace. So they look at SUVs as premium, they look upon them as luxury. There's no longer a stigma that says a sedan is luxury, an SUV is not. That's completely gone.
So lastly, could you talk a little bit about Audi's new design language that we're going to see in the TT and also in the Q7? Tell me a little bit, if you can, in words, what the design language is about.
I think there's two things. First, you see a distinction between, let's call it the sedan roadster world and the SUV world. So we really tried to draw a distinction between the two things. And for the SUV, what you see is a 3-dimensional grille, a much bolder appearance and a much bolder look. But I think the important thing is classic Audi proportions and aesthetics will never go away, and I think that's an absolutely crucial thing. We've made some fine-tuning to the design language, but nothing beats proportions, proper clean aesthetics. That will stay universally true.
Scott, thank you very much for spending some time with us today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Tron. Thank you very much.
Yeah.